I should load. Perfect World servers could have decided that they don't like me, but we'll see. Everybody cross your fingers. We made it. Okay, so guys, welcome back to the Sina Cup. I'm just gonna get my co-caster back in. So guys, welcome back. This is game 3, the third and final game between LGD and IG. We're all tied up 1-1. This is your winner, well, one of your two winner bracket semifinals for the Sina Cup Open Season 2. I'm basically pure-casting on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and hopefully joining me in a moment will be Winter. I'll introduce him as soon as he picks up. He was just having some Skype problems, and yeah, here we go. So welcome back, Winter.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep, hopefully there's no problem this time out.
Sweet.
I don't know what else.
LGD's turn to ban.
Yeah, hopefully well, at least the good news is that I haven't been having any problems hearing you, but yeah, it's not so great if you can't hear me, I guess. But anyway, we're here. It's game 3. It's a pretty big one, honestly. Like we talked, like I said in the end of the last game, I don't think either team wants to drop down and potentially be in a situation where it's a do or die best of one to continue advancing. And you're probably going to meet some great teams down in the lower bracket as well. Somebody else is going to be knocked out tomorrow after. Well, somebody else is going to be knocked down to the lower bracket tomorrow after DK's game. So let's get ourselves underway with the draft for game 3. Lots of familiar faces. IG this time around actually choosing to ban at the Clockwork, and they are going to end up first picking the Visage.
This is just a very, very typical picks by IG. They always open up either with the Visage or the Clockwork or the Timbersaw, these three, if they get their hands on either one. If they don't have Clockwork and Timbersaw, it's most likely going to be a Visage if it's not banned. Like, they prefer to get the Visage over the Venomancer, even if they have to choose between those two. They are really, really they really rate Visage very high, like for a team in China.
10 seconds remaining.
It's interesting because some teams just don't.
5 seconds
mostly it's
remaining.
like from the Western teams, particularly I would say Speed Gaming and Alliance. These two teams rate Visage really high, but in China it's IG.
To ban.
So far, pretty similar drafts from both sides. We've got a greedy support and a roaming support, pretty much. The Visage not the best roaming support, obviously, so LGD might be able to go for some two-man smokes with the Rubik and the Alk. But Crystal Maiden, sort of a force, all unto herself. She's terrifying. When she's off just jungling, your mid or your off lane is thinking, okay, where is this Crystal Maiden? Is she on her way to gank me? Am I in trouble? And also a great partner for the Visage because, as stated, she can just jungle. The Visage can sit bot and pull and get all the levels that he needs. So I think so far so good for IG.
It was also an interesting choice by LGD. Like the first two picks they picked up after seeing the Visage from IG, they responded with a Rubik and Alchemist. Like if you have an Alchemist in your pool, like the ideal support would be, for me, if I'm playing the Alchemist as a position 3, I would definitely love to have the Crystal Maiden aura on my side, because Alchemist as a third position or a support always has these mana issues, and having the aura is a really huge plus for boosting the potential of the Alchemist in the game.
Yeah, I mean Rubik, I don't think he's ever a bad pick, but he's often not also your ideal support. I think the one big thing to take out of these first 4 pickups is that IG have a notably stronger aggressive tri-lane. 1, they're on the Radiant, and 2, they've got a Visage and a Crystal Maiden. So if LGD aren't careful with the kind of carry that they pick up here, then they could just get completely pinned down by IG in a tri-lane versus tri-lane that they might not be able to leave, again, depending on who they grab as their one position. So maybe LGD need to focus in really hard on, not even focusing in really hard on their solo lanes just yet. Lifestealer is good tri-lane versus tri-lane, but we'll see.
It's a very good situation here. They had the first pick after banning out the Lightning Revenant, the Razor. So even if IG saw the Razor ban, they couldn't do anything because the next pick would be LGD. So they obviously knew that the Lifestealer pick was coming, because mainly Razor is used to deal with Lifestealer, and they have to be thinking right now, what do they pick up to deal with the rage of the Lifestealer? Do they go for the bat or did they go for the Beastmaster? They need some sort of control that goes through spell immunity. Otherwise, the lifestealer would be just allowed to do whatever he wants to do in a fight.
Yeah, and it's a really nice pickup as well, I think, for LGD, because it does... Even if IG choose to run an aggressive tri-lane, LGD, if they want to, they can just roam the Rubik and the Alchemist and drag the supports away in that way. So even if they're not feeling confident about winning tri-lane versus tri-lane with double melee, they still have something else to do if it comes down to it. And like you said, IG, the question is, what do they find to deal with the lifestealer? The support, they've already got their supports, so support options are pretty much off the table. They don't really want to take a Bane, they don't really want to take a Shadow Demon.
Okay.
They go for the Clinks.
LGD.
This is a really good carry to go for against Lifestealer. He's able to use Searing Arrows on the Rage, and he's extremely difficult for the Lifestealer to catch unless they have some sort of Storm initiation to pull the Clinks first before the Clinks is able to position himself well to take out the Lifestealer. The Lifestealer is not going to be able to touch the Clinks that easily.
Yeah, and LGD, I think they definitely want some way to get the Lifestealer into the fights. You mentioned the Storm Spirit. There's a couple of options still left in the pool as well, but they need to be careful. If they want one in particular, then they either need to take it now and then risk being counterpicked or it being pulled. Yeah, now they need to risk it being counterpicked, or they needed to leave it and risk it being banned. So it looks like LGD, they're willing to have the Storm Spirit, though. We'll see what IG can find to deal with the mid.
Wow, that's really, definitely really something. Yeah, that's really a really good just a counter pick to deal with the Storm Spirit. So if you're LGD right now, there is also another option after you particularly look at the Outworld Devourer pick by IG. You know that they're going to send the OD to deal with your Storm Spirit. So that leaves you with two options. Either you go for like off-lane Lifestealer, safe lane Storm Spirit, or you just switch the Lifestealer and Storm Spirit lanes. You let the Lifestealer go solo mid, start with a Quelling Bait and start you and go up against the OD. You will have a much better time compared to the Storm Spirit, and you can have the Storm Spirit solo the safe lane. But if you do that, you're going to be worried if IG does the aggressive tri-lane on you, because Storm is like useless in a tri-lane.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about. You're right. The OD snap pick, and I think in that sense, IG have maybe come out a little bit ahead. It also, I think it comes down to what LGD's final pickup is going to be. If it's not a hero that can 1v1 the Clinks very well, then I think you just say, okay, look, we're going to put Clink safe lane, OD mid, doesn't matter who's mid, and then we're just going to run the aggressive tri-lane. Because then, no matter what happens, I think you've got 2 out of 3 lanes won, right?
Yeah. They don't have to worry about rotating the supports. As long as, if they have this sort of lane as IG, Clinks, OD, you're having very solid solo heroes. Even if your Visage has to rotate around early to make sure that the lanes are stable for your side, it's going to be worth it because you have really strong solo cores. Like OD and Clinks you can actually say that you have 2 position 1 heroes because both of them can be played as a position 1.
Yeah, and if the Storm Spirit has a bad start to the game, then he could very quickly just feel completely irrelevant. I mean, OD doesn't like going out of his way that much to buy a BKB, but he can do it if he has to, and not be too unhappy. Just go 4 staff into the BKB. The Visage, if he has an alright time, can be the one to buy the mech. So LGD, this last pick is super important. If it comes down to it, it needs to be somebody that can solo fairly well against the
I don't think they have much options they can deal with the Clinks. It's really difficult. Maybe they just go for a Windrunner for some AoE and defensive capabilities. I don't see them having any extremely good options to deal with the Clinks, particularly 1v1. They just have to pick something that helps with their lineup in general. They can't really focus on getting a hero to just be able to deal with the Clinks 1v1 in a lane.
Yeah, and this Clinks as well is going to be even worse because there's a Crystal Maiden on his team, so winning that lane against just constant Searing Arrows and buffed Searing Arrows as well.
Essence Aura, CM Aura, you have unlimited mana?
Pretty much. I think that's a fair thing to say. So IG, what do they look for here? What do you think for what hero to head up the aggressive tri-lane?
IG's turn to pick.
Well, if they look at the last pick of LGD picked up a Lich. Might not be a good thing for IG to try and do an aggressive tri-lane because LGD could mix things up with a dual lane with the Lich and Lifestealer. And your solo Klings would have a tough time that way. So maybe for IG now, you just pick something that is able to survive in the offlane and just use the Crystal Maiden
10
jungle
seconds
and the
remaining.
Visage to protect the Klings in the safe lane.
Yeah, and just allocate your
5
supports
seconds
as
remaining.
needed. Because if you turn up top lane with this aggressive tri-lane, then your Clinks is up against a duo lane
Reserve
on
time.
bot, then you do have to, you're going to have to rotate down to deal with it. So we'll see. There is some mind gaming going on, I guess. This is going to bump the Alchemist up to a core position
Position
as well.
3.
Yeah. So this is tough for IG. I mean, we've just talked through all of the different possible outcomes of, you know, Dire lane this way or Radiant lane this way.
Stalker.
Okay.
So it's gonna be aggressive tri lane if they go for a Night Stalker. They're not gonna leave the Night Stalker alone at top.
Yeah, so looks like IG are just all in on the aggro try, but well, at least that's the way that it looks from the draft right now. But for LGD, if you see this, I think you just say, okay, let's just find what our best case scenario is.
They can just do like a Lich dual lane on the off lane, Lich plus Lifestealer, Lich plus Alchemist, and they can just ditch the other hero in the safe lane, which is gonna have a tough time. But someone has to take a sacrifice, farm less in the early stage of the game against the tri lane, and make sure you don't die. And it looks like for me, Lifestealer is
10
like
seconds
easier
remaining.
to survive in the tri lane against the tri lane. So probably they
5
would do a
seconds
Lich
remaining.
and Alchemist on the off lane to deal with the Klings and have the Lifestealer go up against the tri lane.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that you have to keep the Storm Spirit fairly safe. You don't want to put him. Maybe you can do like
Prepare
Storm
for
Rubik
battle.
mid against the OD, and that'll be all right. But there is a decision to be made here about where you put the Lich. Do you put the Lich in a duo lane with the Lifestealer just to try and get him some safe farm, or do you try and have the Lich help out the Storm? But we'll figure out where the lanes are going to be heading in just a little bit, I guess. So over on LGD, we've got Xiaowei on your Storm Spirit. DD is going to be your Rubik. We've got Rabbit currently heading towards mid as the Lifestealer, so it looks like he's going to be up against the big bad OD. DDC will be your Lich, and Yao is going to be the Alchemist.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Lifestealer solo mid. I'm not sure whether the Lich will be rotating over to help him. So for the Radiant side, we have YYF on the Night Stalker, Howl on the Clinks, and we have Ferrari 430 on the Outworld Devourer, Faith on the Visage,
30
and lastly we
seconds
have
to battle.
Banana supporting as the Crystal Maiden this time around.
Yeah, it looks like Banana is expecting to jungle to start. So IG are just kind of playing this fairly safe. They are just seemingly pitching YYF to the offlane.
They are actually going to use the Alchemist. Alchemist is also a really good way to deal with the tri-lane. You basically just spam your acid and push the lane out. And they're going to move the Lich to middle.
The battle begins.
This laning stage is giving me a... Thinking through all the possibilities for the lanes is giving me a bit of a headache.
There's just so many variations that LGD could do. And IG has to be able to anticipate what should be the appropriate reactions if they see whatever options that LGD took.
Yeah, and they didn't get any information to start as well. They moved in, they were looking for a cheesy level 1 Roshan.
They saw the Rubik at the bottom side river. That should give them a clear idea that there's 2 heroes at bottom.
So Hao's just going to scout out what's going on here. DD's going to start zoning him, so it's going to be solo Clinks for now. Both just moving in to completely harass him back. Banana's starting off in the jungle. It's a duo lane on top, so Yao is having a little bit of difficulty approaching the creep wave as well. And it is going to end up being the Lifestealer Lich duo mid against the OD. So overall, I think this is pretty good for LGD. They're probably going to win mid or get good farm on the Lifestealer, and Storm Spirit should also get good farm bot.
And you will have to look towards your jungling CM. What is the CM going to do to change the outcome of the lanes? Because he's going to be the one dictating the pace. Like, the Visage is not going to move. They're going to basically win the top lane at the moment for IG. Top lane is easy lane for the Night Stalker. So the next lane that the CM helps is going to decide the outcome of the early game.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, I guess, is if the Night Stalker has a good start, he can pay that forward. Ferrari's being jumped mid lane. He's going to salve, but one more right click finishes him off.
that was just basically the power of the Lich solo, suppressing the OD so much that he got a little too greedy trying to get last hits. You get double slowed and there goes your life.
Yeah, and I think they went right after OD imprisoned DDC, so he went in, got the imprisonment, but didn't back off far enough, just from looking at the Astral Imprisonment cooldown as he died. So, nice little pickup there for LGD, and that immediately maybe starts to get Banana to consider moving mid.
They rotated their lanes. They switched up the Storm top. They left the Rubik alone at bottom, and Alchemist is gonna pull creeps. Oh, this is a bit weird. I didn't expect them to make this rotation at all.
Yeah, this is a little bit surprising. So it looks like Yao's getting bumped down. DD has a DD heading towards bot, but this opens up a lot of space for Hao just to pick up some farms. So I guess they're really worried about Banana ganking the Storm Spirit and they're doing whatever they can just to make sure that Zhao 8 gets some safe farm.
Yeah, like I said, IG has to rely a lot on the Crystal Maiden. Obviously LGD know that the Crystal Maiden is going to decide the outcome of the early game. So top lane, they're going to smoke with the Alchemist, starting with a Concussion now.
Yeah, they're going to find Faith. There's some damage being thrown onto Zhao 8, but Faith won't even be able to get a Soul Assumption down. YYF gets dragged. You've got another slow in just a second for DDC. There we go. Is there another concoction? Actually, no. Yao doesn't have enough mana, and it was cooling down as well.
It was still a really good pickup for LGD. Now the lanes are a bit weird for IG because suddenly the Alchemist has been transitioned into, I wouldn't say he's a support now, maybe just like he's gonna be doing some roaming before he gets space to farm, and the Rubik is not gonna waste any experience that they're gonna get from the bottom lane. So overall it's a really good rotation from LGD to gain more on the whole map and get ganks moving on with the Alchemist.
Yeah, I don't know how long DD is going to be able to stay down here, is the thing. I mean, they came down, they waved their hands around a little bit and pressured Hao for the early game, and Hao is being really cheeky. He's ducking into the side shop. He's buying tranquil boots. He's reaching the regen.
Zhao 8. Storm is in trouble.
Can they finish him off? They get the bite. He doesn't have roll. He's dead for sure.
Can't breathe.
That is not what you want for your Storm Spirit. You have to, like you mentioned, you have to ensure that the Storm Spirit gets a super good start.
Yeah, and
they're gonna get the
Banana
CM.
strikes. DDC gets the slow. Yao coming in. He's got boots. Banana does as well, but looks like the concoction just gonna pop Banana, no problem. So LGD do strike back a little bit, but I don't know. I think LGD made adjustments to have better lanes, hopefully, but the Crystal Maiden still ends up finding the Storm Spirit regardless. And now they've kind of only got 2 core heroes with 3 supports.
I think it's okay still because like they can farm the Alchemist later on. He can catch up with his Grievous Greed, and having 2 cores at the moment for them is really good considering the Clinks and the Outward Devourer. They both didn't have a good start, and they are the main cause of IG.
Where did Hao hide his Ring of Protection? I guess he wasn't actually doing this intentionally. So what I thought he was doing was, while the creep wave is dead, he ducked into the side shop, bought Tranquils, got a little bit of regen out of them, and then disassembled them.
I remember seeing the Ring of Protection too, and it's gone.
I guess maybe he sold it.
Yeah, top lane.
Top lane, jump in on Faith. Down he'll go. So LGD, another kill for them. Oh, and mid lane. More action happening. Rabbit in some trouble. YYF coming in. There's the imprisonment. TP support as well. And looks like Rabbit's going to be fine.
He still doesn't have his ultimate, so he might have to wait for this wave, and he gets his XP and goes to the jungle to refill his hit points.
So YYF makes his first move during this first night. He's level 5 right now. I think they left Faith to get levels on top lane.
Smoke died. IG is coming into the middle lane. Like, they're going to try and get the lifestealer kill. Hopefully, they're going to get something done with this smoke. Otherwise, they're getting from all their cores not having a good start at all.
The mysterious disappearing rune. Looks like LGD, they're clued up. Yeah, okay. So
probably shouldn't have
shouldn't have taken the regen.
They're going to rotate into middle lane. They might still get a huge wrap around on the Lich and the Lifestealer, who has teleport scrolls. The Rubik has teleport scrolls. The Alchemist doesn't have a TP. Storm does have a TP with ultimate.
Okay, so IG Are they gonna end up going for this? I think if you are gonna go for it, you end up going from behind. They ping up on the high ground. They're like, look, there was a ward. You shouldn't have taken the regen YYF. So little things like that can end up costing you. Can end up costing you a gank. I mean, the Radiant have amazing vision over in the Dire jungle right now. If there was anybody there that was unsuspecting,
the triangle area of wards.
Yeah, this is like
the Bermuda Triangle.
I was gonna say that, but it's not that punny, right? Oh well. Anyway, so moving on. DD is still farming bottom lane against How.
Storm is rotating bottom. They're gonna try and get a gank off the Klings right now.
Do they have some anti-invis?
He still has his ultimate up, but not very tanky. 600 hit points.
They need to keep him on top of the sentry. That's all they have for counter invis. And now Xiaowe's actually being revealed down here.
LGD is moving into the jungle. Oh, Banana's probably gonna be dead.
Banana dispels the smoke. He turns around. Ferrari's the target, but he's pretty fast. They're going to imprison up Rabbit. Won't really be able to turn around on him, but another smoke, another missed gank. This time around for LGD, however.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. I was thinking that the CM would just run into them, but he turned back and tried to finish the last creep. So trying to farm is a really, really good idea for the CM there.
Banana's greed saves his life. Is the moral of the story.
How often do you get to say that?
Yeah, not very often.
Usually we say that, oh boy, greed doesn't pay, dude. But
you pushed that too far. How gets dragged back on bottom lane. He's gonna turn around and throw out some damage onto Xiao. Not sure if he should keep on fighting here. He knows that Xiao doesn't have any dust, however. So he's just gonna be able to invis and get out of there. YYF heads bot. He does have darkness. If Xiao gets a little bit greedy here, he walks around the side. YYF is going to pop the darkness, silences him up as well. Will he be able to find this kill? Xiao just immediately TP's out.
It was just a really, really quick reaction to TP out. If he tried to walk any further and waste a bit more time, he wouldn't have survived that because the second void would be coming off cooldown.
Yeah, and that's actually a really big investment for YYF, using this darkness right now. He's not going to have it up. Well, he might have it up immediately starting with the next night. But that means that for this next daytime cycle, I don't think LGD need to be scared at all. They can just sit in their lanes and grab a little bit of farm.
Yeah, if you look at the last week charts, even though the thing
How drags bot? Where's the anti-invis? They've got some dust. They lift him up. Down he goes.
He's still leading in the CS after that horrid start he had. So he's still going to have a fairly quick time on his Orchid, but without a Midas.
I mean, in fairness, they pressured him for all of a minute and 30 seconds. And then Xiao went top and told Yao to go support. So, I don't know if it was a huge impact. But yeah, how is very farm?
You're questioning the script of the director.
I shouldn't. I'll keep my lips zipped. But he's doing pretty well so far. He set up a kill. He's getting some good farm up as well. And they're now leaving Yao to mid lane to grab his levels and grab his farm. So he's a support no longer.
Yeah, the Rubik is the one taking the support position now. He's actually really high level considering the circumstances he's in. He's level 7. He's gonna be doing a lot for them right now.
Yeah, top lane, How looking towards Rabbit. Two-man smoking.
He needs to get a creep first before they try to engage.
Okay, so he doesn't have strafe here is the other thing. Rabbit is TPing mid lane where a fight is breaking out because they found YYF and the concoction's gonna end up popping him. Ferrari gets the imprisonment down. There's a bite on Xiao. Banana in trouble. Hasted Xiao just going to keep on running you down. And Faith trapped behind the tower. LGD keep on moving forward. Ferrari actually comes back in here, throws an imprisonment, gets the Sanity's Eclipse down, but Rabbit is actually still alive. He pops out. He gets the infest.
Rubik even got the ultimate.
Oh lord. So 4-0.
That was the script. That was the script.
That was the script. And with that, LGD are leading 9-1. They've just blown this game wide open.
Yeah, that was just really the way they decided to move their lanes was something out of the ordinary, and IG didn't really react to that. They never expected the Alchemist to be transitioned into like the core transitioning into a support momentarily just to get 1 or 2 kills, and now he's back again trying to get farm.
Yeah, and I think this is similar in some ways to, people say that a support Mirana is a lot scarier in terms of ganking than a carry Mirana, because when it's a carry Mirana or, you know, farming Mirana, you're thinking about the arrows, you're thinking about where she is.
You should ask S for that, man. He was the Shadow Fiend dealing with the support Mirana.
Yeah, and I guess it's the same idea, right? As soon as you think, oh, as soon as you transition the Alchemist into less of a farming role, it's easier for him to be moving around the map. Oh, Storm jumped out bottom lane. The concoction's coming in as well. Looks like Hao's gonna end up dropping. Can they finish off Xiao 8? The Chain Frost starts bouncing around. Faith is gonna give up his own life to try and get Banana back to safety, but his Tranquil Boots are broken. They get broken again by one right click from DDC. Another concoction flies in, and another 4-for-1 in favor of LGD.
They made the rotation so good that they forced out the heroes that IG didn't want to move. They didn't want to move the Night Stalker at all. And they were forced into a situation where they couldn't utilize the laning dominance of the Klings and the OD. So that was just a really, really good play by LGD, making IG fall into a position they're extremely uncomfortable with their lineup. Yeah. They don't have like ultimate on the Visage. They really don't want to fight at the moment.
What was IG's plan for manning that bottom tower? Ferrari's gone for a Midas. He is well and truly just AFK farming mid and the jungle.
He has to, I feel like.
I think he has to as well, but why are you 4-man pressuring the tier 1? When LGD might be... I guess maybe they saw somebody TP somewhere. Like maybe you see the Lifestealer TP and then he uses an infest. DD gets silenced up, but he's still going to be able to run back. Xiao 8's going to double damage her in here. There is going to be an imprisonment. Lifestealer's still lying in wait. There's still plenty of mana up on Xiao 8. They jump in. It's on top of YYF. The concoction stun bursts him down. And LGD, well, Hao's on the back lines. Looks towards DD. He's going to get lifted up into the air. There's a Sanity's Eclipse here as well. Doesn't end up doing anything. But they still managed to bring down the Clinks. And LGD going to keep on diving. Xiao 8, last little bit of this double damage left. Picks up Faith. Ferrari's now in some trouble. He's gotten imprisonment. Is able to get it out. Yao, no concoction ready, but... LGD, this should be a tier 1 tower for them, and just favorable teamfight after favorable teamfight at this point.
Yeah, the lineup excels at fighting early on with all those small little engagements, and not to mention, they started out really well. The early rotations were so good, and especially having the Rubik, like the first decision, giving the Rubik so much space to get levels proved to be really, really useful. He did so much for his team, like in the last few fights. He stole really good spells, made the fight a lot easier for his team to take, and there you go. Two tier 1 towers are taken out by LGD at this moment. 40 minutes, and they are the ones having the weaker lanes against the Visage.
Yeah, and they've done a really good job of being opportunistic with their warding as well. If you look at these wards that they've got done, they've been placed fairly recently. This one was probably placed in the middle of that last team fight.
They placed it while they were smoking and before they started the fight, and they just placed it and gave them vision to know that where and when they should start the fight.
Oh, DD, he's stalking Hao with the skeleton walk.
Storm is coming in. Yeah, he's gonna be dead.
Yeah, I think he's dead. In comes the lift. All they need is a little bit of anti-invis. The dust pops off. Hao's on the run, but will be finished off by Xiao 8.
Told you a storm was coming.
This Klink is just not having a good time at all. His Orchid might not come even in the next 3 to 4 minutes.
And at one point, I'd like to remind everybody that he was the lead farmer.
Yeah, he's still the lead farmer if you look at the last hits chart. And here comes the Klinks, and sorry, not the Klinks, the Rubik with the Klinks skeleton walk, bringing the lifestealer in.
Oh, they lift up Ferrari. They don't get the infest damage on him. They are able to turn this around a little bit. Imprisonment goes off. Faith throws the Soul Assumption into a Blade Mail. The Chain Frost flies. Bounces onto Banana as well.
They are just losing every single fight at the moment. They have no way to win a fight.
Yeah,
without the familiars, they are not going to do that much damage in a fight.
Yeah, we're 15 minutes in, almost 60 minutes in. Faith is 151 and he's level 5. Oh, and Hao walks past the Sentry Ward. Can they find him?
Is there any more? Nope, they don't have.
No. Can he find the courier? Oh, they managed to find Banana. Faith's gonna get dragged as well. Meanwhile, he is looking for the courier.
Is going down. Okay, they just killed the courier and called GG. That was like
okay. So that's that.
That was like the captain of the team. Guys, I guess it's over for us.
Victory.
Wait, I need the courier.
Wait, guys, I need this little bit of extra gold. I mean, you look up at if you look up at the scoreboard for IG, it's 2 to 20 they were not having a very good time.
There's no way they could come back from that anymore. It's very difficult against a Storm. And not to mention, LGD has 3 cores at the same time having that huge early advantage. So it was really, really tough spot for IG. It's like you don't have any choice left in the game, and you're bound to lose, and you don't want to just try and do anything anymore because it's going to be a waste of time. Like,
yeah.
LGD is not going to throw the game. And
even at that point, I don't think there's any chance of avoiding fights. I think LGD just they keep finding one hero. They'll take a tower.
They can even
speed
push as much as possible to make your heroes move around the map and catch you with the storm. What else can you do against that?
Yeah. So that finishes it up. So it is going to be LGD walking away with the win. They're going to advance to the winner bracket finals. IG will be dropping down to the lower bracket, and we actually have to determine their opponent tonight. So we've still got a best of 1 between LGD.int and Tongfu, which is coming up next, hopefully. I believe we are past the scheduled time at this point. Yeah, so that'll be up next. But otherwise, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this best of 3. I've been Basecamp here providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summit. Again, you can find me in all the usual places under the name of Basecamp. I'd love to hear feedback from you guys on my casting as well, so you can email me at basecampdota@gmail.com. I'm going to pass it over to Winter very quickly to give you any closing thoughts, and then we'll jump ourselves into that best of 1.
Yeah, I just want to say that the last game on the mentality and decision making of LGD was really, really, really good. I've never seen them do something like those sort of rotations during the early game, changing and swapping roles of the heroes, and it was a really eye-opener, and it was, I think, the most important point of the game where it changes everything that IG had in mind, and it threw them off into a really bad spot, and they sort of didn't manage to deal with it, and they got picked off by the roaming alchemist. And after that, the storm came into play. The Rubik had a really good start, and they were just getting pickoffs everywhere. So IG has nowhere to farm, and that was just basically the story of the script the last game. Yeah,
I think Joet had it down to the letter ever since that first rotation.
Never doubt the script.
Never doubt the director. I've learned my lesson officially. So guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this game. We're gonna jump ourselves into our lower bracket best of 1. It's do or die for Tongfu and LGD.int. So I hope you guys will join us. See you soon.